these models are doing, they're discovering vulnerabilities in your infrastructure. And then within 30 seconds, that's not a mistake, 30 seconds, they can figure out an exploit. When you're being attacked by a swarm, you need a swarm to defend yourself. So when you're being attacked by AI, you need AI to defend yourself. And what Bell Cyber has been doing is we have given enterprises of any size.
In 2026, the speed of cyber threats has outpaced human capacity, making autonomous, AI-driven security no longer a luxury, but a necessity for survival.
Every small business, whether you're 3 persons or whether you're 10 persons, you need a firewall, email security, EDR, endpoint detection and response, and then multi-factor authentication.
Hello everyone, this is Kripa Anand and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Today we are discussing the front line of national defense in the digital age. In 2026, the speed of cyber threats has outpaced human capacity, making autonomous, AI-driven security no longer a luxury, but a necessity for survival. Joining us is John Menezes, President and CEO of Bell Cyber. With over 30 years of experience, John founded Stratagem in 2015. Now Bell Cyber following its acquisition by Bell in 2024. He has pioneered the shift from labor-intensive security to intelligence-led approaches, launching North America's first autonomous security operations center. He is here today to show us how machine speed defense is changing the cost curve for Canadian businesses. So before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. John, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Now, John, many people are surprised to learn that Bell Cyber is now actually the largest security services business in the country. Firstly, a huge congratulations on everything you've achieved so far. Why should Canadian organizations choose a national cybersecurity partner like Bell? Let's start the conversation with this.
I think the AI has changed everything. And what AI has shown us is that you don't have the time and you can't keep experimenting on finding out how to protect your data and your assets. So you need to go with somebody like Bell Cyber who has got the scale, got the experience, got the knowledge, and got the people. We are 300 people across Canada.
Wow.
What is interesting is that we are totally Canadian based. We don't use subcontractors.
Yeah,
We don't offshore. Everything is in Canada.
beautiful.
So we are the Canadian gold standard for cybersecurity. So the fact that we are also the largest managed security services provider in Canada is just another feather in our cap. But we're working with small companies. We're working with large companies. We're working with federal government. We're working with provincial government. So it's a great business.
I love the confidence with which you articulate everything, John, because leveraging national scale and sovereign infrastructure, it ensures that a company's data stays protected within our borders, right? While benefiting the global level expertise. That's great. Now, let's explore how autonomous SOC technology is transforming cyber defense. So, why is the autonomous SOC changing modern cybersecurity defense? And also go ahead and explain the SOC as well to our layman listeners.
So AI has changed everything.
Yeah.
And in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you started learning about Anthropic's Mythos, which is now referred to as frontier AI. So what is frontier AI? Frontier AI is large language models that are so sophisticated that can cause so much of grief. So that's the world we're living in. So we have, Anthropic came out and said, hey, this is Mythos. It's so disruptive.
Yeah.
We're not going to release it to the public.
Great.
And then a couple of weeks later, OpenAI comes and said, we've got our own very disruptive model and stuff like that. And, we're going to help with everybody.
Yeah.
So this is what we know that OpenAI and Anthropic are doing. What are the Chinese doing? What are the Russians doing? What are the North Koreans doing? And do they have even more disruptive models that we don't know about? And are the hackers using those models? So when you're looking at the threat landscape, everything has changed. Yeah. In the last 3 years, AI has changed everything. It's changing the way we're going to live. It's changing the way we work.
Yeah.
But in cyber, it has changed. It is transforming it. Okay, so we're not just changing, tweaking things. It's being changed totally. Because what these models are doing, they're discovering vulnerabilities in your infrastructure.
Yes.
And then within 30 seconds, that's not a mistake, 30 seconds, they can figure out an exploit. And then they can use that exploit to breach your systems. So this is what's happening. So, as a CEO of Zscaler said the other day, he said, when you're being attacked by a swarm, you need a swarm to defend yourself. Right. So when you're being attacked by AI, you need AI to defend yourself. And what Bell Cyber has been doing, so we've been working on this Autonomous SOC now for 2.5 years. And we launched it, Mirko Bibic, who's the CEO of Bell Canada, announced the launch of our Autonomous SOC at our Bell Security Summit in September 2025. And we have given enterprises of any size, the ability to defend themselves against an AI onslaught. And so the Security Operations Center is basically humans looking at threats, looking at attacks, and defending in real time. We've taken the human and put them in the loop, but the heavy lifting is all done by AI. AI is doing the heavy lift, AI is doing everything, and the humans are in the loop, making sure that the AI is not losing its mind or doing something we don't want it to do. Right. And that's what's happening.
It was so educational in nature and so insightful because automating the tedious triage work, it allows your human analysts to stop being, alert shifters and start being strategic advisors for your clients in a way, right? I'd also like to touch upon how AI is reshaping the cybersecurity landscape because I know you talked about how AI is changing everything, right? But also what you mentioned that even the bad guys have the same AI that the good people do right now. From that lens, how do you imagine AI changing the next 5 to 7 years?
I was invited by the Senate of Canada to appear before them just a month ago. I was
Wow.
And they also want to know they're drafting up an AI framework for government, for Canada and stuff like that. And they asked me, saying, what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years? And I said to them, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 months. Okay? It's changing so fast. And I said what my suggestion to them was, when you create this framework for Canadians AI, for AI, you've got to create something that's agile. So you're going to create something that is going to change in the next 3 to 5 months.
Yes.
Okay? So you can't have something, you can't put in a box like, governments love, they love to go to do these committees and, come up with a 3, 5, 10-year plan.
Yeah.
In AI, you can't do that.
Right.
So even in cyber, every time we think that we understand what the AI is going to do and how we can defend ourselves,
right,
we come up with some new thing and something new comes about. And so we got to go back to the drawing board and start all over again.
Right.
So there's no rest for cybersecurity professionals anymore. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And I always say, I sleep very well because we have great systems in place and we have, great processes in place. But over the last 6 months, I keep telling my team I don't sleep at night because we are protecting 800 enterprises in Canada. And I don't know what the AI is going to do and which of my customers are going to be attacked and how we're going to protect them when they are attacked. And can we detect the attack quickly? Do we have the right containment actions in place?
Right.
And so it's very interesting. It's very interesting to not know. We're also used to knowing.
Right.
With AI, we don't know because the technology has only been around for 2 years. So who knows how the AI is going to behave? And then recently, the Anthropic CEO said, "Hey, we think AI is conscious." So what exactly does that mean?
Right. So, what do you think does that mean? Because consciousness has different meanings, right? And it has different context as well. AI being conscious, wow, that's a very mind-boggling statement, right? So,
It is it
right,
is a
what do you think
mind-boggling
about it?
statement,
Yeah.
but it's just telling you the power of the technology. Okay, the
Hmm.
power of the technology. Because the AI is conscious, that means the AI can think for itself. If the AI can think for itself, then because that's what it's doing now. It's we talk about generative AI, and it's just generating content based on what it's learned. But now if it can think for itself, then perhaps it's going to do a lot more than just regurgitate things it's learned.
Of course, just imagine your machine having that power of, living and breathing entity. That's a great sci-fi movie theme that, that we might discover in future as well. To the business owners and IT leaders watching, in 2026, a good enough firewall is a thing of the past. Bell Cyber has officially changed the cost curve of security by launching an autonomous SOC that contains threats at machine speed. While others are still trying to build these systems, Bell is already live and protecting Canadian businesses. If you want to move from a reactive defense to autonomous resilience, visit bell.ca/cybersecurity. Don't wait for a breach to realize your manual processes are too slow. Get the sovereign, AI driven protection that Canada's largest security firm provides. We're going to take a quick break right here, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with more insights from John.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Let's jump right back into the conversation and explore the cybersecurity priorities every organization should focus on today. Now, coming back to what we were talking about, John, majority of our listeners today would be, owners or founders themselves, or small, medium, or even large corporations. So, from that perspective, what are the key cybersecurity priorities that you suggest every organization should focus on right now?
We just launched a service with WatchGuard firewalls, okay, to be able to provide small, medium enterprises with a firewall that is easy to use, easy to manage, and protect them. So that's the basic fundamental. Every small business, whether you're 3 persons or whether you're 10 person, you need a firewall. So that's number one. Number two is the biggest threat vector is email security. Everybody's getting phishing.
Yes.
So email security is another piece of the puzzle that small businesses need to have. The third piece is EDR, endpoint detection and response. Most businesses know antivirus. Okay, most businesses know antivirus. Most businesses know whether you're small, 1 person or 100 people, you need antivirus. So the future of antivirus is EDR, which is endpoint detection. So you need endpoint detection response. And then the fourth piece of the puzzle, I would say, would be multi-factor authentication. So everybody is now used to getting a text message from your bank, please enter these numbers, or getting some email message and saying, please enter these numbers. So every time you log into any system now, you have multi-factor authentication. So these are the 4 things that I would say that you need to maintain a semblance of cybersecurity in your environment.
Definitely, as you mentioned, having a unified view across endpoint, identity, and cloud, it ensures that there are no blind spots for an attacker to, exploit. I'd love to talk about your journey now, John. Is business, entrepreneurship, technology something that, you were interested in always as a child, or did you stumble upon this in your career or in your journey? So what's the story there?
So I always wanted to grow up to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay. I wanted to grow up to be a lawyer. And then many, many years ago, I got into computer programming. And I started to program computers, and I was pretty good at it.
Right.
And so one thing led to another.
When you said you got into computer, how did you get into it? Did someone?
Some of the, my wife said to me, she says, everybody's going to computers.
So it was
And
just
I
a
said,
trend then.
it was a trend. Everybody's going to computers, and I said, okay, I'll go into computers as well. And I started to program. And I was pretty good at programming computers. And then one thing led to another, and then when I came to Canada in '91, they were talking about this thing called the internet, and so I got into networking and installing routers and switches. And I'm talking about, I sold my first firewall in 1992.
Okay.
So I've been in cybersecurity long before it was even called cybersecurity. Okay.
Right.
And cybersecurity, people only started talking about cybersecurity in the last 5 or 6 years. It's become a big issue for everybody, and everybody talks about it. Otherwise, when I went to a party and talked about cybersecurity, they would look at me and leave, because it
was a boring topic
It was a
back
boring
then,
topic,
yeah.
and nobody cared about it. And, people said, oh, yeah, he's in computers, so it's
Something
even
in
I was in
computers,
cyber, but it said it was. So it's been a great journey, it's been fun. It's been fun, and I've always been at the start of things, so I was there at the start of the internet. I was there at the start of the cloud. I was there at the start of mobile computing, and I'm here at the start of AI. So I think I bring a unique perspective. I bring a unique perspective to technology and the adoption of technology, and most importantly for me now, how do you secure it?
Beautiful. I think this is one of the most organic life stories that has left me and all of our listeners inspired. And we're so thankful that you chose what you chose and you're doing what you're doing today, because you're not just doing this for your own self, but the impact that you're creating across Canada and eventually globally. I think we're immensely proud of what you're doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity to talk to small and medium businesses, because I think they are the ones that are going to be under attack more
Yeah.
now with AI.
Definitely. I'm loving this conversation today, and definitely we're going to get him back for a deeper discussion. But for today, before we let you go, John, if there's one final piece of advice that you have for our listeners today, something that you want them to remember always when it comes to cybersecurity, if you could whisper something into their ears, what would you say and why?
Well, I would say get a firewall if you're in business. And if you're doing it, and if you're an individual, I would say get an EDR solution so that you're protected at all times.
Definitely. I think that is a great reminder that technology should be used to free your people, not overwhelm them, right? John, it was such a pleasure. Thank you again for doing this.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, that was John Menezes from Bell Cyber, a masterclass in AI-driven defense, the power of an autonomous SOC, and why Canada's largest security business is redefining protection for 2026. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca for more such resources. To learn more about how we are supporting the ecosystem, please visit the Canadian SME Small Business Foundation at smbfoundation.ca. And lastly, a very special thank you to our partners, UPS and ADP, for their ongoing commitment to empowering SMBs across Canada. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.